Ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba! Hey, I'm Coach Jackson and I'm fired up. I'm so fired up because my client Mark came out throwing haymakers on this interview we did. He dropped some absolute knowledge bombs on you, talking about some identity shifts, behavior change, habit formation, and he also talks about how he went from no pack to absolute shredded six-pack abs. He even said on his July 4th vacation that when he was out on the beach, he was getting compliments, people calling him shredded, saying, "What happened to you? You look like a different person." Just an unbelievable, incredible transformation. But I think the real best part of the interview and the thing that you're going to enjoy the most is the mindset shifts, the insights, the confidence levels, how his happiness has improved, and also how he went from thinking that he's just getting older and achier, and this is just what happens when you get older and your metabolism slows down, and hey, I'm too old to ever have a six-pack again. He went from thinking like that to now, 8 weeks later, literally 8 weeks afterwards, thinking, wow, not only is this possible for me, not only do I have a six-pack, but this is actually easy for me to maintain for the rest of my life. So he was able to develop the habits, the systems, the behaviors to now do this on his own and maintain it effortlessly for the rest of his life. And that's what's so exciting because now he's going to be that confident, happy, unstoppable person forever. Incredible. I can't wait to share it with you. Here's Mark.
Okay. Thanks for having me. My name is Mark and I'm 37 years old. I'm a commercial real estate broker.
Awesome. So the transformation is incredible, and we'll certainly get to that in a little bit. But why don't you tell us a little bit about where you started in terms of weight and maybe body fat, and just like how you felt about yourself.
It was 189 pounds, and I didn't know my body fat, but I knew that I didn't like the way I looked, and I didn't like the way that I felt. I felt doughy, soft, and I also felt that, like pants and shorts that used to fit, I was now muffing topping over, which was a big wake-up call and something that kind of drove me crazy. So that was kind of one of the big catalysts for me, like finally getting over the hump and like deciding to reach out to you.
Sure. And was that kind of just a slow progression, just like a little bit over time, where all of a sudden it was one day you woke up and it was like, holy cow, what happened?
Yeah, I actually, I know exactly when it started. I had been athletic my whole life. I'd played sports. I got very into triathlons for a long time. So I always kind of like had a slender physique and always like stayed in shape. And then I moved around a little bit and I moved to a city and just my physical activity just slowed down. And I, was drinking a lot of beer socially and I felt like it just kind of started to compound and all of a sudden like weight came on and it became the new norm. And I, although I worked out a lot, I mean, I was still like a 5-day-a-week gym guy, but just not doing apparently the work that I need to be doing in the gym to maintain a body that I would be happy with.
Wow, that's incredible. So you were working out 5 days a week, but not getting good results and actually getting worse.
Yeah, and I learned a lot through like even our initial conversation about some of my lifestyle choices that I had, that I was just my everyday behavior, which I thought was, fairly normal, still active, putting time in. I kind of was chalking it up like, oh, this is, I'm getting older, metabolism slowing down, all those things that like you hear. I kind of like relegated myself to the fact like, oh, he'll never have a six pack. Those days are long gone.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I was watching your blog and like reading every email that you sent out. I would drag them into a folder and kind of save them if I liked the information. And then there was one of your videos, and I watched a lot of your success stories, and one kind of resonated with me the most. And it was a guy who also was going to the gym, putting work in, but not getting the results that he wanted. So it was that. And then we did go on a trip to the Philippines where I was with my wife's family, and they all just like, I relished in, the culture and all the food and all, it was all that. But I came back feeling bigger than I ever had been and pretty unhappy about it. And that's when it was like, all right, this is it. Like, I got to make a change. I got to call Jackson and we got to figure some stuff out.
So you think it was just the fact that you were putting in so much time, not getting results, and then that combined with kind of
the physique and who you were and now who you're becoming? Was that really kind of what was that change was about for you?
Yeah, I think that had a lot to do with it. And I feel like I was scared about like how much sacrifice it would take to get like the work that it would require. Like I just didn't know if I had that in me. Like we're very social people. We are friends with all these neighbors, and it's not uncommon for us to have like big group dinners like 4 or 5 times a week where we have people coming over. We're going to somebody else's house. You know, there's wine, there's drinks, and there's like big communal meals, which are super fun and super social, and we love them, but not conducive to, even if you're going to the gym for an hour every day, not conducive to maintaining like a healthy lifestyle. I mean, you would ask what else I wasn't happy with. I wasn't sleeping well. You know, whether that's the food I was eating, the alcohol that, you know, like as part of those like communal social things. You know, my GI tract wasn't great. Just a lot of things, and all of which got better as soon as I started the program.
Awesome. We'll talk a little bit about how you dealt with those social situations later, but let's get to the good part. Let's get to the results. Like, tell me, what were the results?
I never really cared about like the numbers. I cared more about like the aesthetic. Like I just wanted to like look a certain way, feel a certain way, and I didn't even care if like what the scale said. But it's a great indicator as to like progress. So I got back from this trip and I weighed 189 pounds. And now I was on the scale yesterday and I weigh 169. So I've lost 20 pounds.
So the picture that you sent me, full 6-pack abs, and tell me, what did the people on the beach during your July 4th vacation, what did they say that you look like? You looked something with an S.
I heard the word shredded a couple times, and I didn't think that I would ever. People were asking me, what have you been doing? What's your secret? Like, what? I mean, a lot of stuff, a lot of compliments that I wasn't expecting coming. I had one guy come up to me like, well, you look like a different person. Like, who is this guy? You know, when you see it every day yourself, you look at yourself in the mirror, you don't recognize some of those changes. But when you haven't seen people in a long time and they remember you from, you know, what you were, and then all of a sudden you shed 20 pounds and pack on some muscle and your body's like, you used to play volleyball with these same guys, and all of a sudden you show up a few months later and you look very different. You know, it's going to raise some eyebrows. So it was a very, very good feeling, a very welcome feeling. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't, great to hear a lot of that stuff.
Awesome. So people are telling you that you're shredded, that you look like a different person. You got the full 6-pack abs now. So it sounds like
I didn't think I'd ever have a 6-pack. Like I had one years and years ago. I was like, that's not going to happen again. It's not in the cards. So when all of a sudden they showed up, I was like, all right. So that's a welcome benefit.
Wow, that's incredible. So where's your mind at today in comparison to where it was when you were 189 pounds and you got back from that vacation?
Like confidence level through the roof. Totally different. You know, I used to not get psyched about going to the beach just because I didn't like the way I looked. Now I'm like, you know, who wants to wanting to go to the beach all the time. It's a much different. I think I've just kind of got it dialed in as to what it takes to maintain a physique that you're happy with, and it's really not that hard. Like it's just kind of resetting your mindset, and there's so much from our first conversation, the first like 45-minute conversation we had that you said that helped me start shifting the way I think. So it's been great. Like I'm so happy. I'm very, very, my confidence is up. I sleep better. GI issues gone. All of the things, and it was making some very subtle lifestyle changes that I still, you know, have kept today, and think they're going to be easy to maintain and keep forever. Like I don't ever want to get back to that guy who's 189 pounds.
Incredible. Go from I can never have a 6-pack again, I'm getting old, it's just the way it is, to all of a sudden shredded 6-pack abs, confidence levels through the roof, and now you're the mindset that, hey, this is not even that hard to maintain. I can do this for the rest of my life. Yeah,
and I'm like becoming a de facto coach to friends of mine who were like, okay, what's this happen? I'm like, well, you can, you know, like, what was your secret? And I said, well, you can just call my buddy Jackson, and he'll give you everything you need to know. You know, they're always looking for a to cut corners, but everybody's asking questions like you did it in a relatively short amount of time. Because I think I told you, like, the biggest, most drastic reduction in weight, I think, in like, for me, like, the visual reduction, the visual change happened in the first 8 weeks, and it was significant. I lost 15 pounds in the first 8 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible, Mark. I mean, I'm getting excited just listening to you. Like, my emotions are flowing. I'm feeling great because this is exactly why I do it, is to help people just like you and to hear your story about thinking you can never do it to now all of a sudden you can do it and you think it's easy and you want to maintain this for the rest of your life. I love it, man.
Don't get me wrong. The workouts are not easy. The workouts are intense, but they're great. And like you feel like you earned it when you get out of the gym every day after doing going to the program.
I think that's an important word you just said there. Earned it.
Yeah.
And if you got the results and you didn't put in the work, you wouldn't value it. And you wouldn't feel as good as you do, and you wouldn't have the confidence. But you did put in the work. You were an incredible student, despite whatever you're saying about not being a good student. You were an incredible student. You executed incredibly well, and you earned every single compliment. You earned all the looks, the results, the happiness, the smiles, everything that you got. You earned it, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, why don't you tell me a little bit about, just like tactically, kind of, you mentioned some subtle lifestyle shifts. So this sounds like this wasn't a complete 180 in terms of your lifestyle, even though you're kind of getting a 180 in terms of the way you look and feel.
I still would partake weekends, socially, things like that. One of the things that resonated the most, and this was in our first conversation and from a book that you recommended called Mindless Eating, which I got and read, and it blows you away, like, how we're pre-programmed to think about food. And you had said that when you are in a group of 4 or more people, you will eat 100% more calories. You'll double your caloric intake if you're in a setting of 4 more people. And like, you told me that a day or two before I went into like the next big group dinner, and just knowing that, being aware of that, like, it totally changed how I approached that dinner that we were at. And I stayed out of the kitchen and didn't pick, with all the food that was out. Like, it was difficult, but just being aware of it, like, knowing what to look out for, was a huge, huge help. And those little mindsets, shifts and adjustments you had to make, those were, I think, a major player in my success.
Awesome. So you're still social, you still hang out with your friends, you still enjoy drinks on the weekends and some of those cheat foods that you like. You just reduce the number of times that you're obviously enjoying them.
Yep.
And shifted them more towards a weekend kind of reward as opposed to just an all the time kind of a thing.
Exactly right. Yep. And I started eating cleaner too. So in addition to the intermittent fasting and kind of shortening that fasting window, I got everything like snacky out of the house. I just got rid of it, just pitched it. And I made it pretty big shifts in not big shifts, but because I always try to eat relatively healthy, but really stuck to lean proteins, a lot of greens, try to limit the amount of carbs, but still would do some of those, like, some good fats, a lot of avocado. And all this coupled together, I just started to feel better immediately, right away. So feeling better, looking better, it was, it made it easy and like to succeed. It made it easy to want to keep going. When you started to see the results and you started to feel better, you're like, why wasn't I doing this sooner? Why wasn't I, committed to living a healthier lifestyle sooner?
Awesome, Mark. So tell me, last kind of 2 questions. First of all, what did you like most about the program? And then second of all, what would you say to anybody who's kind of on the fence right now who may be thinking about joining, but they're like, I'm not sure, Mark's such an incredible guy, I'm not that good, like, he's awesome, but I don't think I can do it.
Okay, first, I loved the program. Again, I was going to the gym for about the same amount of time, but I realized after the first workout that in that same amount of time, I was not putting in half of the amount of work that I should have been. And it's not because we're like lifting such heavier weights. It's just you're constantly moving. It's such a high intensity of the workouts, and mixing up total body stuff, getting like doing the metabolic type stuff as opposed to like the, your traditional, okay, today I'm going to do back and buys and chest and try, like that type of thing, really kind of shifting what you're doing. I remember leaving the gym just never being so soaked in sweat and feeling so great about it. You think you go into the gym and you get a good workout until you really get a good workout, and you're like, all right, this is kind of resetting what it means to really have a 600 or 700 calorie burn workout.
Awesome, redefining your limits.
Yeah, totally. So I love that aspect about it. I love how it would change up, and I loved that the website, the content. Like there was a couple things I thought I knew every exercise in the book, and then I was like, all right, what is he talking about here? But you have videos for everything, which is awesome. So I'd be in the gym with my phone, like trying to watch and be like, okay, now how did he do this one? How did he set up for this one? And just wanting to make sure. I was bringing dry erase markers and writing it on the mirrors in the gym just so I could set up my little zone and run through it and make sure I wasn't skipping anything. So
it's so great.
Yeah, it was awesome. And now that I'm kind of out of that program, I'm using a lot of those things and kind of piecemealing things together. Like, okay, well, kind of building my own based on all the stuff that I was doing while I was in the program.
So now that you're out of the program, you already know and you kind of have learned what works, what doesn't, how to maintain it. So now you don't even need my help, and you can maintain if you want on your own.
Yeah. And so I'll know now, when I leave the gym, if I'm not drenched in sweat, if I'm not totally beat, I know it's on me that I didn't put the work in. I didn't do what I could have done. So yeah, and I love that. And I reference the workouts constantly. I reference them today. I walk around and I have the sheets, the programs on my phone. I'm always looking at them. And then to answer your second question, what would I say to anybody who's on the fence? Don't think that you can't do it, regardless of your age, regardless of your current physical state. All it takes is getting to the tipping point where you said, I've had enough. I want to make a change, and it doesn't take that long. It's not that big of a sacrifice. It may feel like it is. It may feel daunting, like a mountain to climb, but it's really not, and the results are so worth it. So worth it.
Awesome, Mark. Thanks again for being such a great student. Despite what you say, you're an incredible student. You executed. Like I said, you earned the results, and you deserve all the success. So thank you again so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, and thank you.
Once again, a big thank you to my client, Mark. Mark, I appreciate this so much. I can't thank you enough for getting the results, for putting in the effort and the intensity, and also for doing this interview. It really, from the bottom of my heart, I can't say enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it, and you deserve everything that you get, from compliments to confidence to pride, everything, man. You deserve it because you earned it. Now that I got that out of the way, let's shift to the 4 takeaways that I had about this interview that I think will help you level up your life. First one is the lies that we tell ourselves. Mark said that he would tell himself that, this is not a big deal. This is what happens as you get older. My metabolism slows down. This is normal. These aches and pains, 6-packs aren't for guys my age. He was telling himself all these little lies, and in the process, he was gaining less and less self-awareness. And it wasn't until those lies built up to a point where he couldn't ignore them anymore that he decided to make a change. And it was that moment that everything shifted for him. And once he made that decision and got self-aware about where he was at, that was the catalyst for change. So for you, lying to yourself and not having that self-awareness is a very slippery slope. So I want you to think about where you're currently at and be honest with yourself. Look in the mirror, take a photo, get honest. Where are you at? And if you're not happy with it, what are you going to do about it? The second major takeaway I had from this video was about strategy. Gosh, strategy is so important, and I preach this to people, but sometimes, man, I just got to say it again. The strategy. Mark was working out 5 days a week. He put in 5 hours in the gym a week, and he was getting worse over time. He was actually getting worse. His diet and his exercise program were not synergistically working together, and he lacked strategy on how to fit all of it together and what to do when he was in the gym. Once he got the strategy from me and he knew exactly how to execute in the gym, and he knew how to synergistically make his diet work together with his workout program, That's when the magic happened. And that's how he went from no pack to six pack in just 8 weeks. So you see how powerful it can be to get the right strategy, and how in just a very short amount of time, like 8 weeks, you can make a quantum leap, a huge jump in terms of your results, your confidence, your mindset, your physical body. All of that can change very, very rapidly. But it doesn't happen until you get the right strategy. And that's the second takeaway I had from this video. The third takeaway I had from Mark's interview was about momentum and the importance of it. He said when he first started, or even before he started, it just felt insurmountable. Like, I can never have a six pack. This is not possible. But then once he got into it and he actually made the decision to change, right? He made that decision and he started making some progress. All of a sudden, he gained a little momentum. It was like a flywheel. It starts spinning rapidly, faster and faster. Physical changes, mental changes, and they just keep going. And all of a sudden, he went from like, I don't think I could ever have a six pack to not only do I have a six pack now, but I can maintain it for life. And he just kept getting better and better. And the changes went from, this is, holy cow, this is so much work, to, wow, this is actually doable and I can maintain this forever. So it's that idea of gaining momentum, and that momentum comes through progress. And when you're seeing results, right, when you're putting in the time and the effort, but you're actually getting results on the back end of it, that's where you end up getting all the happiness and the confidence, and you end up getting that, building that mindset and that shift in identity to like, wow, what else can I do? What else is possible for me? Or, wow, I was selling myself so short. That's what's so exciting about making a physical transformation and going through a program like this, is that mental shift in your mindset and that momentum you gain around making progress with your body and with your mind. And then all of a sudden, everything around you becomes possible. And you're like, wow, what else can I do? And the last big takeaway I had from Mark's interview was about the compounding nature of the results that he got from his physical transformation. So they weren't just physical results. He also transformed himself mentally. His mindset shifted dramatically. And he said confidence is higher. He feels more pride in himself, like he has more energy. So there was a lot of results that weren't just physical that start to bleed into the other areas of your life, your relationships, your relationship with friends and your significant other, how you show up to work, how you dive into tasks, and just how you're able to overcome obstacles and challenges in all these other areas of your life. But then also, Mark talked about how he's now able to maintain this. He's able to keep this going for the rest of his life with just a few subtle shifts. That's incredible. That speaks to the power of the identity shift that he's had and how momentum has played into his transformation. He's made so much progress so fast and he's so excited about it. And now, with all of these new habits and skills that he has and systems, now his mindset has shifted so much that he's now a new person. He's completely transformed. And even people have said to him, Mark, you look like a new person. Well, he feels like a new person. And that's where I think the compounding nature comes in. People fail to realize how a physical transformation is going to affect the other areas of their life. And they also fail to forward pace it out and project it forward over the course of the next 1, 3, 5, even 10 years. Mark's going to maintain this for the rest of his life. What's that worth? And that's why I was so incredibly stoked that he did this interview with me, because it speaks volumes about the results that he got, the new person that he became, and just how excited I am about all of this. So I'm Coach Jackson. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this interview.